Okay, Alex, I want you to think about a specific, universally terrifying experience. A moment where you are completely out of your comfort zone. Your heart rate is climbing, and you realize you have absolutely no idea where you are or how to get back.
Oh, wow. That is a very dramatic way to start the podcast. But I know exactly what you're talking about. It is the feeling of being completely lost in a new city.
Yes, specifically. Being lost in a new city while trying to navigate the public transportation system.
Oh, that is a special kind of nightmare. On a scale of 1 to 10, my anxiety when I have to figure out a foreign subway system is easily a 9. Maybe a 10 if it is rush hour and my phone battery is at 5%.
A 10? That is incredibly high. You are an intelligent, capable adult? You manage complex projects at work. But a subway map makes you want to curl up into a ball and live in the station?
It is not just the map. Sophia, it is the pressure. When you are lost in a new city, you are already feeling vulnerable. You do not know the culture. You do not know the neighborhoods, and you are trying to get to an important meeting or a dinner reservation. And then, you have to ask a stranger for help, in a second language, while trains are screaming past you.
I completely understand that. Public transportation is stressful even in your native language. The signs are confusing. The announcements are muffled. And everyone seems to be in a massive hurry.
Exactly. And in English, the vocabulary for directions is so full of phrasal verbs and idioms that make zero sense if you translate them literally. Get off. Transfer. Head towards. Miss the stop. It is a linguistic obstacle course.
It really is. And there is this unspoken rule that you are supposed to just know how it works. Like, if you ask for help, you are admitting defeat.
Yes, that is exactly it. I had a terrible experience with this a few years ago. I was visiting New York City for a tech conference. I had to get from my hotel in Manhattan to a venue in Brooklyn.
Okay. Setting the scene. The classic Manhattan to Brooklyn commute. High stakes. Lots of people. Very fast. Paced.
Yes, I had my phone. I had the map app open, and I felt confident. I walked down into the subway station. It was loud. It was crowded. And the air smelled well, like a New York subway. I found the train I needed. I got on. I felt like a local.
I love this. You were in your element. You had a plan.
I did. But then, the train stopped unexpectedly between stations. The lights flickered. The conductor came on the speaker and said something that sounded like, delay, switch to the M.
The classic muffled subway announcement. It is a rite of passage.
Exactly. I had no idea what he said. I looked around, and everyone else seemed to know exactly what was happening. They were all getting off the train. So, I followed them. I got off at a station I did not recognize.
And your phone?
My phone died. Right there. 5% became 0. I was standing on a platform in Brooklyn, with no map, no internet, and no idea what station I was at.
Oh, the ultimate modern panic. The dead battery.
Yes, I was panicking. I had 20 minutes before my meeting started. I saw a guy standing nearby. He was wearing a baseball cap, looking very much like a local New Yorker. I decided I had to be brave. I had to ask for directions.
Okay. I am bracing myself. What did you say to him?
I walked up to him, and I tried to sound confident and professional. I said, "Excuse me, I'm trying to get to the conference center in Williamsburg. Can you tell me how to go there from here?"
That is a perfectly clear, polite question.
I thought so, but he looked at me, and he spoke at the speed of light. He said, "Yeah, man, you're on the wrong line. You gotta head back uptown. Transfer at Bedford. Catch the L. And it's just a stone's throw from the station. You can't miss it."
Okay. That is a lot of information very quickly. Head back uptown. Transfer. Catch the L. Stone's throw.
Yes, and my brain just circuited. I understood uptown and transfer. But then he said, "It's just a stone's throw from the station."
Ah. The idiom trap?
I did not know that idiom. I had never heard it. So, my brain tried to translate it literally. A stone's throw. I thought, okay, a stone is a rock. A throw is an action. So, the distance is exactly how far a person can throw a rock.
Laughs. Logically. That is actually a very creative way to interpret it.
I was so nervous, and I wanted to show him that I understood his instructions perfectly. So, I nodded very seriously, and I said, "Okay, thank you. I will bring a small stone, just to be safe."
I am losing my mind. I am actually crying. You told a New Yorker you were going to bring a small stone?
I did, with total, sincere confidence. "I will bring a small stone, just to be safe."
What did his face do?
He stopped. He looked at me. He looked at my empty hands. And he said, very slowly, "Bro, you don't need a stone. It just means it's really close. Like 2 minutes walking."
Wiping away tears. Oh. Alex. That is incredible.
I wanted the subway tracks to open up and swallow me whole. I just mumbled, "Ah, right? 2 minutes. Thank you." And I walked away as fast as I could. I spent the next 10 minutes walking in the opposite direction, trying to find a cafe with Fi so I could look up what a stone's throw actually meant.
Okay. First of all, that is a hilarious story. Second of all, I promise you, that guy probably forgot about it 30 seconds later. New Yorkers see weird things every single day. You're just a drop in the ocean of subway weirdness.
Logically, I know that. But in the moment, you feel so foolish. You are an adult, but you feel like a child who does not understand the basic rules of the world.
I hear you. It is that gap between your actual intelligence and your ability to decode fast. Idiomatic native speech. But let's look at what actually happened. You got off the train? You assessed the situation. And you asked for help. That is a huge win. Even if the idiom tripped you up.
I suppose so. But it made me realize how much I rely on my phone. When the technology fails, my language skills feel like they fail too.
That is so true. And it highlights a really important point for our listeners. When we are put on the spot in a second language, especially in a stressful environment like a busy train station. Our brains default to literal translations. We panic, and we grab the first words we know.
Exactly. So, please, Sophia, give me the toolkit. How do I navigate public transportation without sounding like I'm planning to throw rocks at buildings?
Okay, let's demystify this. The most common B1, B2 directional phrases are actually quite logical once you know the context. Let's start with the one that caused the trauma. A stone's throw.
It is an idiom that means a very short distance. Got it. No actual stones required.
Exactly. It is a very common, natural way to say something is very close. The hotel is just a stone's throw from the beach. Now, what about transfer?
I know this one. It means to change from one train or bus to another. But I always worry I'm saying it wrong. I sometimes say, I need to change the train, which sounds a bit clunky.
Change trains is perfectly fine, but transfer is the more natural, native sounding verb. I need to transfer at the next station. Another huge one is get off.
Yes, I used to say, I need to exit the train, which is technically true, but it sounds like I am escaping from a prison.
Laughs. Exit the train does sound very dramatic. Get off is the standard phrasal verb. I get off at 42nd Street. And the opposite is get on. I get on the train here.
Get on and get off. Simple, clear, and impossible to misunderstand. What about when I miss my stop?
Ah, the dreaded missed stop. The natural phrase is exactly that. I missed my stop. Or, I overshot my stop.
Overshot. I like that. It sounds very precise.
It is. And if you're trying to figure out which direction to go, you can use head towards. For example, I need to head towards downtown.
Head towards. That is a great collocation. It is much better than walk to or go to. It implies direction and purpose.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the interaction itself. Because asking for directions is not just about the vocabulary. It is about managing the conversation when the other person is speaking too fast.
Yes, that is the hardest part. They give you 5 instructions in 10 seconds, and you are just standing there, nodding, hoping you remembered at least one of them.
I hear this so often. And the instinct is to just say thank you and walk away, even if you are completely lost. But that is the most dangerous thing you can do.
So, what is the alternative? How do I ask them to slow down without sounding rude or stupid?
You use what I call the polite interruption and clarification technique. You do not wait until they are finished to say you are lost. You interrupt gently. Take ownership of the confusion. And ask for a reset.
How do I do that?
You can say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm a bit turned around. Could you repeat that a little slower, please?
I'm a bit turned around. I love that. It is a very natural, native way to say I am lost without sounding completely helpless.
Exactly. It implies that you know generally where you are, but you have lost your specific orientation. It is a very soft, polite way to admit confusion. Another great phrase is, just to make sure I got that right. I need to transfer at Bedford. Correct.
Just to make sure I got that right. That is brilliant. It shows that you're listening, and it forces them to confirm the most important part of the directions.
Yes, it turns a one-way monologue into a two-way conversation. You are actively participating in solving the problem, rather than just passively receiving information you do not understand.
That makes so much sense. It takes the pressure off me to remember everything, and it gives the other person a chance to be helpful.
Exactly. And honestly, most people are very happy to help if you show that you are trying. Now, since we are on the topic of getting lost and asking for directions, I want to try something with you. A little role play.
Oh no, I knew this was coming. My imaginary subway map is already confusing me.
It will be fun, I promise. And it is great practice. I am going to be a fast, talking, slightly distracted local New Yorker. You are going to stop me on the street. Ask for directions to a specific place. And when I give you a fast, idiomatic answer, you are going to use your new phrases to politely ask me to slow down and clarify. Ready?
Okay. I am ready. No stones. No exiting trains like a prisoner.
Perfect. Shifts posture. Adopts a fast, casual, slightly impatient local voice. Yeah, I'm in a rush. But what do you need?
Clears throat. Speaks calmly and politely. Excuse me. I am a bit turned around. I am trying to find the art museum. Could you point me in the right direction?
Oh, yeah, it's super easy. Just head down this block. Take a left at the light. Walk past the bodega. And it's right on the corner. You can't miss it. It's a stone's throw from here.
Takes a deep breath. Uses the technique. I am sorry to interrupt, but I am still a little confused. Just to make sure I got that right. I take a left at the light, and it is very close.
Breaks character. Smiling widely. Oh, Alex, that was absolutely flawless.
Really? It felt a little bit formal, but I was trying to be clear.
It was perfect. You used turned around. You politely interrupted. I'm sorry to interrupt. And you used the clarification phrase, just to make sure I got that right. You sounded like a confident, capable traveler who knows how to advocate for himself.
It feels much safer to have a script like that. When I am nervous, I either say nothing and walk in the wrong direction, or I just say, okay, thanks, and end up in the wrong burrow.
And both of those extremes are problematic. Walking in the wrong direction wastes your time. And pretending to understand can lead to bigger problems. The polite interruption and clarification formula keeps you perfectly in the middle.
I'm definitely writing that formula down. But Sophia, I have to be honest. All of this navigation anxiety, it is deeply tied to a feeling of inadequacy.
I hear you. Say more about that.
Well, when you move to a new country, or even just visit a new city, you lose a lot of your everyday competence. In my native language, I know how to read a map. I know how to ask for directions. I know how to navigate the transit system. I am a capable adult. But in English, I am reduced to standing on a platform, holding a dead phone, feeling completely helpless.
That is such a profound and valid feeling. We spend our whole lives building competence. We want to be good at our jobs, good at managing our lives, good at communicating. So when we try to do a simple thing like find a train station in a second language, and we suddenly do not understand the basic directions, it feels like a blow to our ego.
Exactly. You feel like you're regressing. You think, I am a senior software developer. I build complex systems. Why can I not understand a guy telling me how to walk 2 blocks?
Because you have never needed to know this specific, fast-paced, idiomatic vocabulary. It is a highly specific context with its own rhythm. Being a beginner at navigating a new city does not make you less intelligent. It just means you're learning a new skill. In a new language, in a new culture, that is triple the cognitive load.
That is a really nice way to look at it. I usually just focus on the awkwardness of the moment. Like the time I tried to ask a bus driver if the bus went to the airport. And I said, "Does this bus fly to the airport?"
Bursts into laughter. Oh, Alex. No, you asked a bus driver if the bus flies?
I did. I meant to say, "Does this bus go directly to the airport?" But my brain grabbed the word fly because I was thinking about airplanes. The bus driver just stared at me and said, "No, man. It drives."
I am wheezing. I'm actually crying. No, man. It drives. That is the most perfectly deadpan New York response ever.
I wanted to disappear into the floor of the bus. I just said, "Right? It drives. Thank you." And I sat down in the back, staring out the window, wondering why I cannot just speak like a normal human being.
Okay. First of all, that is hilarious. Second of all, the bus driver was probably just tired and appreciated the humor, even if it was accidental. But you know what? Alex, you got on the right bus. You asked the question. You survived the interaction? That is a victory.
I suppose so. I just need to remember that my worth is not determined by my ability to give or receive perfect directions in a second language.
Exactly. Your worth is determined by the fact that you keep trying. You keep putting yourself out there, even when it is uncomfortable. And that is incredibly brave. Now, since we are experts on transit survival, I want to do a quick rapid fire scenario game. Navigation edition. I will give you a situation, and you give me your immediate, natural response. No overthinking.
Okay. My phone is charged, and I have left my stones at home. Hit me.
Scenario 1. You are on a train, and you're not sure if this is the right train. You see a transit employee walking through the car.
I would say, "Excuse me, could you confirm if this train stops at Central Station?"
Perfect. Polite. Direct. And uses the natural verb, confirm. Scenario 2. You are walking with a friend, and you realize you are going the wrong way.
I would say, "Wait, I think we are heading in the wrong direction. Let me check the map on my phone."
Excellent. Heading in the wrong direction is a very natural phrase. Scenario 3. A local gives you very fast directions, and you miss the last part.
I would say, I'm sorry. I missed that last part. Could you repeat it a bit slower? Please.
Yes, flawless. You take ownership of the miss. I missed that. And you make a clear, polite request. Scenario 4. You finally arrive at your destination. But you are an hour late because you got lost? Your friend is waiting for you.
I would say, I am so sorry I am late. I got a bit turned around on the subway, but I am here now.
Gasps. Alex. That is a perfect, emotionally intelligent response. You apologize. You give a brief, honest reason using the natural phrase, turned around. And you pivot to the present. I am here now. That is B2 C1 level communication right there.
Really? I just used the phrase you gave me.
And you used it perfectly in context? That is how language acquisition works. You hear it, you understand it, and then you make it your own. You should be very proud of that.
I am. I am definitely writing, I got a bit turned around on my imaginary subway map.
Please do. And you know, Alex, this entire conversation really highlights something important about the language learning journey. We focus so much on the big milestones, passing a test, giving a presentation. But the real magic happens in these tiny, awkward, everyday moments.
The tiny moments.
Yes. The moment you ask a bus driver if the bus flies. The moment you realize a stone's throw does not require actual ammunition. The moment you confidently say, just to make sure I got that right. Those are the moments where you are actually living the language. You are not just studying it. You are using it to navigate your life and advocate for yourself.
That is a really beautiful way to look at it. I usually just think of those moments as embarrassing failures, but they are actually proof of progress.
Exactly. Every awkward question is a victory. Every misunderstood phrase is a lesson learned. You are building your confidence one subway ride at a time.
One subway ride at a time. I like that. I am going to use that.
You should. Now, to wrap up our transit survival guide, I have to ask, did you ever make it to that conference in Brooklyn?
Laughs. You know what, Sophia? Yes, I did. I eventually found a cafe. I charged my phone, and I figured out the L train. I was 40 minutes late. My hair was a mess, but I made it.
That is a huge victory. You faced the maze. You asked for help, and you succeeded.
I did. And if I ever get lost again, I know exactly what to say. Excuse me? I'm a bit turned around. Could you help me figure this out?
Laughs. That is the smartest thing you could possibly say. Thank you, Alex. This conversation was exactly what I needed. I feel so much more confident about walking into a new city and not feeling like an alien. I am so glad to hear that. Alex, and to all our listeners out there, if you feel anxious about navigating public transportation or asking for directions in English, remember this: it is okay to be lost. It is okay to ask someone to speak slower. And you never, ever need to bring a stone.
And if a bus driver asks where you are going, just remember, the bus drives. It does not fly.
Exactly. We will see you all next time. Keep your phones charged. Your directions clear. And bye. Alex.
Bye, Sophia.